there'd be no difference between the administrations, right? Except for the fact that Donald Trump is imposing tariffs. So tariffs disproportionately negatively impact low and middle income individuals because they spend a greater proportion of their income on consumer goods. So if it's going to increase the taxes for everyone and for working class Americans especially, that will mean that there are greater levels of taxation, specifically with Donald Trump, comparative to what it would have been with Kamala Harris for income earners under $400,000 a year. Now that would be different for income earners over $400,000 a year once you get
Yes,
to a
and
certain level of income.
that is the problem. I don't think it's really fair for people $400,000 a year because my family does fortunately make that, but we really don't like the tax cuts in America, and we think it's unfair, and there should definitely be some equality.
So
But
you don't support the tax cuts?
well, I think that if you're gonna tax cut everyone, it should be for everyone and not people that make a certain amount of money. Yes.
Well, the reality is that we have to have governmental systems, and we have a system right now that we're like $36 trillion in debt, and we disproportionately would rather have the rich pay than people in the working class.
Yes, I do know that, and I also don't like. I just debated Dean like a week ago on this, and he did kick me, so I'm not very happy about that. But I was bringing up to him that Biden made a organizational plan on if you are a teenager and you get pregnant, then you get free welfare from the state. You get a free like apartment or housing, free like food stamps, and that took like a big tax cut. I don't know where you're from, but I'm from Maine, and it took a very big tax cut, and it actually caused a statistic of 3% more teenagers to get pregnant in America, what I read online. And I think that's not okay. It should not be, it should be frowned upon, teenagers getting pregnant, but
Yeah, so they should
it
be able to get
obviously
access to
happens.
abortion, right?
Which I also don't think. I think, what I was taught when I was younger, if you can lay down and make them, you can get up and raise them. But
Yeah, but I don't think that's a good thing just because you were taught when you were younger. I think that's wrong.
yes, I completely understand that we have different perspectives on that. But my moral and religious belief is that God put a child on this planet for every reason. And I think that every child deserves to have a life. And I know the foster care system is really bad right now. And I really hope that Trump can do something to make the system a little more unproblematic. But I really think that abortion is not 100% the way to go at
Okay,
all.
so we're going to get into this position that, because you already said religious earlier, I just wanted to clarify, you do agree taxes are higher for working class Americans, and you're totally okay with that insofar as that you get an extra tax cut under Trump?
No, the tax cut, we, I know my mom and dad make a lot of money, but we get taxed extra, I'm pretty sure, because they make more money, which I know that
Yeah,
they're
there's
complaining
brackets.
about a lot.
Yes.
Yes, and that's what I think is unfair.
Okay, so just think about it this way. If for the first $45,000 in income, it's the tax the same for everybody. The first $75,000 in income, tax the same for everybody. The first $100,000, tax the same for everybody. Okay? So it's the same if you make that much money. Everyone will have to pay that if
No,
they make that much money. You only
I
pay
don't.
the higher rates on the brackets that are above. Say if you make $500,000 a year and the brackets is at 400,000, you would only pay that extra percentage on the 100,000 over 400,000.
Okay, okay, I understand that too, but I just think that people that are still working class, like working like franchises, like cooking or Dunkin' or anything, should just exactly get the same exact what my parents are getting so they can know what the taxes are really like and how high of a cut they are. But I will, yes, agree with you on that. But I really did want to get into
Before we do,
religion.
I just want to clarify. You're okay with your taxes, or you're okay with taxes for other people going up, and even for you, by the way, the taxes would go up for you because your parents will get a tax break.
Um, no, hold on. Let me go to my tax page. The I no, I don't really agree with half of what you're saying. Are you saying that everyone is getting the same tax cut and taxes are going up because of President Trump? Because I'm pretty sure in 2017 he made a tax cut, like a job act, and he
Yes.
lowered like corporate tax rates and
Yeah, like I told you,
before.
all the taxes applicable to income under $400,000 a year, Harris said that she would keep.
Yes, which she said that she would keep Trump's.
Yeah, all the tax cuts applicable to income under $400,000 a year, and that she would slightly increase taxes on income over $400,000 a year, which would
Yes, that's what I heard.
make her plan lead to 4 trillion less debt related spending over the next 10 years.
Yes, I do know that, and I think it's good, and at the same time, it's just bad for the people that also make 400,000, like over her brackets and everything.
You're gonna be fine. Like, think about it this way: under Donald Trump's big beautiful bill, 420,000 children are cut off of free school lunch and breakfast every single month on average. 2.5 million people cut off of their food stamps every month on average. Over 10 million people cut off of their health insurance, and it adds $3.4 trillion to the debt. Now, just because you get a slight tax cut from your parents' side, is that worth the 420,000 children that are gonna be cut off of free school lunch and breakfast every single month on average?
No, I absolutely don't think that, but I also just think it's a little unfair on my end.
How is it unfair?
Well, because I don't technically make what my parents make. I mean, I still am under them, but so I still have like, college and, car payments and phone payments and everything, so it is still pretty hard on my end.
Yeah, so
But
you'll be paying more because of tariffs. So your parents will get the tax break, yeah, but you're going to be paying more, literally.
okay, I kind of understand now. I understand that tax part now.
And doesn't it
But
create
from
more social mobility to have a system where people who are lower income pay less into the system, and then as you make more, you pay more into the system?
Yeah, I do kind of understand that. I just thought that he did a lot for tax cuts and the Job Act and everything. That's what I was trying to preach. But yeah, no, I
Yeah, and
do
again,
understand how
she would keep the
Kamala was going
TCJA
to.
for all income under 400,000.
Okay. Yes, I understand that. And I think that that would be I think it would be a good thing, but it's like I said, it's just a little unfortunate for some other people.
Okay. I mean, but like I would prefer that comparative to Donald Trump's tax plan where it's not just a little bit unfortunate for some people, it's life-changing. It's whether or not children are eating, you know?
I
Children are
know,
going
I
to
do
go hungry
completely understand that.
because of Donald Trump's bill. So it's like, I mean, I would prefer, it being a little bit, more money to pay in taxes for income over 400,000 than children starving to a greater extent in this country.
Yes, I obviously don't want that. I obviously do not want children to starve or anything, but unfortunately, I can't do anything about that, really.
Yes, you can. You can choose to support a different candidate. That's the point that we're making about this live is that your candidate, Donald Trump, is the one that supports that policy and the other side did not. So if you would have not voted for Donald Trump, right, then it would be the case that we wouldn't have that policy that cuts 420,000 children off of free school lunch and breakfast on average every single month.
That's interesting because is it cut off right now? Has
It's
it
set to
passed
cut
yet?
off by, I think, 2028. And I think it's already started in some areas. I'd have to check, though.
Because that's not how it is in my state, but and in 2028, that's
Or is it
a pretty long
2027? It
time.
might be 2027 when it starts.
But yeah, I haven't I mean I've kind of heard about it, but I haven't really heard that it's actually happening or set in stone, like perfectly set in stone. So I haven't really heard that.
No, it is.
But
Like the law's been passed. It's just like that. He said it for a later period than like right now, so that he doesn't get blamed for it as much.
okay, well maybe that is the case, but I don't want to jump to a conclusion and say that that's what he's trying to do on purpose. But yes, I will agree with you that I really do like the tax cut and the Job Act and everything, and I think that yes, Kamala, if she kept that, I would have been a little more, prone to voting for her. But I didn't really hear much about that. I just heard that she was raising taxes for wealthier individuals or people that make more money.
Okay. So, yeah, she definitely is very slightly, but that's definitely better comparative to what we get through Trump's plan. And also, by the way, the tax is still raised for you too if you make that level of money because you have tariffs still cost money, right?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it does, but I was just saying for economical growth reasons, and that's what I was saying that he did a good job on.
But he's worse for economic growth. Since he's got an office, real GDP growth has gone down. Since he's got an office, the jobs report's been so bad, 7 to 10 times less job growth than what we saw a year ago under Biden. Then so bad that he fired the head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics, claiming that the information was politically biased. And then he literally, what's it called? After doing that, hired a new person that indicated even less jobs for the next month. Oh no, we're lagging a little bit. I don't know
Okay.
why it does
I
that.
wasn't really educated on that.
Oh, I hear you now. What's up?
I said I wasn't really educated on that part of it, but yeah, no, I absolutely do see where you're coming from. And yes, I do see where you're coming from, and I think that I can take your side a little bit on it
For sure. So I guess
and say
like
that you are.
what's still holding you to support Donald Trump? You said just moral, religious. Can you name one ideal of Christianity that Donald Trump upholds to a greater extent than Kamala Harris?
Um, well, he says, preaches that he is a Christian, and he has a lot of supporters that are Christians, and I've heard him on like the news and stuff say that he's Christian. I've never heard, well, like the acts that he, like the laws that he wants to pass follow more with my religion
But you
than
could be you.
most.
Okay, so let's go through this. So you said he says he's Christian, um, and you know that Kamala Harris does as well, right? And Kamala Harris also has a lot of supporters that are Christian.
Yes, I do know that. But some of the things that she agrees with don't really abide by what the Bible goes by.
Okay. Well, we'll listen to this clip first, and then we can go into that.
Okay. You mentioned the Bible. You've been talking about how it's your favorite book, and you said, I think last night in Iowa, some people are surprised that you say that. I'm wondering what one or two of your most favored Bible verses are and why.
I wouldn't want to get into it because to me that's very personal. You know, when I talk about the Bible, it's very personal, so I don't want to get into verses. I don't want to get into.
There's no verse that means a lot to you that you think about or cite.
The Bible means a lot to me, but I don't want to get into specifics.
Even to cite a verse that
no,
you like?
I don't want to do that.
You're an Old Testament guy or a New Testament guy?
Probably equal. I think it's just an incredible. The whole Bible is an incredible. I joke. Very much so. They always hold up the Art of the Deal. I say my second favorite book of all time. But I just think the Bible is just something very special.
Yeah, so I can talk about that if you are trying to say, because he couldn't name a Bible quote or didn't want to get into it. Really just, I know that you ask a lot of questions about the Bible.
You think you actually, no, he didn't want to get into it because he didn't know a Bible verse. Everyone knows that.
Well, you don't know that for certain.
We know that for very good likelihood.
Because I know that because I've been watching some of your lives, and I know that you ask people certain questions that they don't know and aren't fully aware of. And I don't think that everyone should know or be fully aware of every little single detail of the Bible or of Christianity itself.
This is not just every single detail. It's, do you have a favorite verse? And he asked a question, are you Old Testament or New Testament? And he said equal. Like,
oh yeah, like he likes them both is what I think he's trying to say.
Do you think that is a coherent thing for a Christian to say, that they like them equally?
I mean, I could say like I like them both.
No,
like,
would you
I
say
like
that you
both
like
of
them equally? Ever? Do you know any Christian in your life that's ever said that?
I mean, I've definitely heard of some ridiculous answers, but I don't think
people who haven't read it.
Too ridiculous. Well, you don't have to even read the Bible.
And then the next time, he was asked this question, he said 2 Corinthians.
I haven't heard him say that. I mean, he probably did. But
it's 2 Corinthians, right? He didn't know that.
Yes, I did. I understand that, and I understand that maybe but that's what he preaches. That's what he. I mean, I'm not inside his head, so I don't exactly fully not aware of if he's doing it for political views or not. But I have seen videos of him at church donating to churches, so I would like to believe that he is a Christian.
Okay, well, he said that he had never asked God for forgiveness in his life. Do you think that you could never ask God for forgiveness in your life and still be Christian?
I also have never, I've never heard him say that either, but I've definitely, me personally, wouldn't agree with that, but I don't think that that is it's obviously a sin, but I don't think that's stopping you from being a Christian, no.
Okay. You don't think that's stopping you from being a Christian, so just like not repenting at all in your life ever?
Well, that's not, there is only one sin that really cannot be forgiven. And, I mean, it's a problem. It's definitely a bump in the
what
road,
sin
but...
is that? What can never be forgiven?
Isn't it? It's not accepting God into your life. I know, I can't really pronounce it that well. It's in my book right here.
Not accepting God into your life? Okay, so I'm
believing in him.
Yeah, I don't believe in God.
Yes, and that is totally fine.
So are you saying that I should? So I'm engaging in an unforgivable sin by just choosing not to believe. So I have a question. Do you think I should be in prison?
No, I don't think that you should be in prison. Absolutely not.
But I've committed an unforgivable sin.
Well, you just wouldn't go to heaven.
Okay, so what do you think? What do you think is worse,
That's...
an unforgivable sin or a forgivable sin?
Well, I don't really know. I mean, in terms of the world, like, a sin is a sin, and like, you know, like, all of that, it's all bad, and we obviously don't want it, but it's going to happen even if you're a Christian or not a Christian, if that's what you're trying to say. Like,
no, I'm
a forgivable sin is like how you could someone and be forgiven, but that's not on my terms. If he's going to forgive them, that's on God's terms, so I can't really speak for him like that.
So essentially the point I'm trying to make here is that, like, you think that things like abortion should be illegal, right? And those are forgivable sins, but things like an unforgivable sin, like apparently just me saying that I don't believe in God, right? That should have no type of consequences. Why?
Abortion, yeah, it is a sin and it is wrong, but you can be forgiven for it. And I don't, judge any, like, I obviously in my mind don't believe in it, but if, my friends agree with it, and I think that, yeah, it is your choice. I feel like it is a woman's choice, but I don't agree with it. It would not be my choice.
Okay, sure, but you think it should be legal, right?
I know morally, and I want to say morally, like, on my religious end, it shouldn't be, because every child is put on the earth for a reason. But at the same time, in my mind, I'm a political science major, and I'm really trying to see every side of it, and I really feel like, wow, like, in cases of, like, I'm not going to say the word, but that, and, like, a medical term, I really feel like maybe it should be okay, because I wouldn't want someone that's, delivering the baby to pass away.
Okay, but say in elective circumstances, right? Like, should it be legal? Like, you could say you disagree with it, but should it be legal is really the question.
I don't, in my personal mind, think that it should be absolutely illegal, no, but I don't know. I know that my family wouldn't agree with what I'm saying right now, but I just think that there should be a little choice.
Okay, well then the point would then be is that there is a choice that, from a legal perspective. You don't have to agree with that choice. You could never do that in your life, but it's the choice for people to make, right? From a legal perspective, that's really all the position is in terms of being pro-choice, is that you, from a legal perspective, think it should be allowed. All right, plenty of people who are pro-choice disagree with abortion, but they think it should be legal. Like, like if we reference Joe Biden, for example, right, his position was, right, anti-abortion, but he was pro-choice. He thinks it should be legal, but his faith makes him think it's wrong.
Yes, no, I completely understand that. All my friends are pro-choice, and I hear every single side of it. And I've had some friends who have been in the situation that they have been pregnant, and it really was sad to just see them, like, in that absolute sheer of panic. But I can't stop. I can't say, no, you can't get one, because I was just thinking about, like, wow, I don't want them to go, I don't want them to go through such a thing. But it's, like I said, I don't think it should be my choice, and I don't think it should be anyone else's choice but that one person, unless it's, like, a reoccurring situation where you're having, like, multiple a year, then I think it's a little off-putting, but...
Well, and then the point that you're essentially arguing is that it should be between that person and God, and not that person right in the law. And that's essentially the point of the person who's pro-choice. So it sounds like you're pro-choice. It sounds like you don't agree with Donald Trump on like abortion. So if that's true, what about religion does Donald Trump uphold to a greater extent? Because there's nothing else people can point to.
Let me look at my book, but I was hearing you, and I see similar sides of you and Dean talking about the countries with the most crime rates and like everything. I know that you said that. I think you said something in my notes that has a little jot down of, you said something about America being one of the highest crime rates, I think, or like in the past year. I don't know if it was you or Dean, because
That might have been Dean. I'm not quite familiar with the claim you're probably referencing.
But I was looking it up, and a lot of it went down, and then the statistics went back up when I was looking at the charts. And I wanted to talk about teen pregnancy with you, because I just wanted to know your opinion on if the welfare should be given out to the teenagers, like the free housing and the free food stamps and all of that. How you agree on it, because I did talk to Dean about it and he kicked me. He got very upset.
Okay, well, I mean, I definitely believe that, people should be taken care of. I believe in a universal healthcare system. I believe in universal childcare. I believe in housing affordability and providing access to housing in places where people can't provide it for themselves.
Yeah.
Like, I think that is going to be true. So,
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. But do you think that there should be like a tax cut taken out from other people is the problem? Like, we are spending money for
I pay
these
taxes.
children.
I pay
Who purposely
taxes.
get
I'm
pregnant.
willing to pay taxes to be able to provide for people in the society that I live in.
But for them to purposely get pregnant is what I'm saying. And Dean, when I was debating him, saying that teenagers don't purposely get pregnant and that doesn't happen. Or disability, like I did get clips saying that not all people on disability that are collecting those checks.
Well, like I grew up in
are
Iowa.
disabled.
There are 18-year-olds and 19-year-olds that get married and then they want to have children at that age. They're both 18 and 19, right? And
Yes.
I think that they should be able to have help too, because they're a young family.
Well, I don't know about that necessarily. I mean, you wanted to have weddings are expensive. Having kids are expensive. That's a decision that you're making, a lifelong decision. And you should be financially stable or in a stable condition to have children.
Well, I mean, I think that everyone should be taken care of in our society.
Yeah,
Right? Like, that's the society that I live in. I believe
too.
in. And I mean, if that society is more likely to be closer to what we are going to get if we support liberal policies, like not the ones that Trump's advocating for in terms of gutting Medicaid, food stamps, and like free school lunch and breakfast. I think that's ridiculous.
Yeah, no, I do understand what you're saying about that, and I think that every kid should have access to, free health. I think everyone should have access to free healthcare. Even I know that they're taking like immigrants can't have free healthcare, or he's trying to do something like that, and I don't agree with that at all. I think that everyone should get healthcare, absolutely, and meals. But what I'm trying to make you acknowledge is about why the government is taking. I know that everyone needs to chip in and help, but why are they like uprising it for the people that make more money?
Why are they increasing taxes for higher income earners comparative to lower income earners? Because it is the case that you can get more tax revenue, and it is the case that people can afford it more. So if you think about it this way, disposable income, right? Everyone has bills they require in order to survive, right? So there's going to be an amount that they're spending, right? And they're not able to save as much, right? People are living paycheck to paycheck. Most Americans living paycheck to paycheck. Okay.
Yeah.
For the Americans that have vast levels of disposable income, they have a greater ability to pay in terms of taxation because of that disposable income that they have, right?
Yeah.
They're still paying the same type of cost of living as everyone else, probably a little bit more in their circumstance because they make more. And it is the case that they have more disposable income.
Yeah.
Right?
No,
So that's why we tax
I
that to a greater extent, because they can pay more. We wouldn't want to be taxing people that can't afford it. That doesn't make any sense.